Welcome to Void Realities, a place where restless minds drift into calm. Here, science becomes a lullaby, and the mysteries of the universe unfold in whispers. Let your thoughts slow, let your body rest, as we wander gently through the cosmos of wonder and sleep. Drifting through the cosmos, how galaxies are born. A quiet beginning, the first light. In the deep silence after the Big Bang, the universe cooled. Atoms formed, fragile and new, drifting in endless dark. The first sparks of starlight shimmered, breaking the stillness. Here begins the story of how galaxies slowly awaken. You are floating in silence, a silence so wide, so endless, that even the thought of sound feels impossible. The universe has only just begun, and yet it feels immeasurable. Time itself is young here. Seconds are long, stretched like soft silk across an endless loom. You breathe slowly, and though you have no lungs in this place, you feel the rhythm of something beginning. The Big Bang is no longer an explosion in your mind. It is not fire, nor chaos, nor violent eruption. Instead, you feel it as a soft, expanding breath, a swelling of space itself, gentle and inevitable. From this expansion, the heat slowly cools, and the cosmos begins to soften into stillness. You drift through this newborn universe. All around you is darkness, but not an empty one. It is pregnant with potential, filled with whispers you cannot yet hear. The heat of creation has settled, and from it the smallest building blocks of matter now float like grains of dust in a vast ocean. Hydrogen, helium, the lightest elements, fragile as feathers, yet destined to carry the weight of galaxies. You see them as shimmering motes suspended in space, each one glowing faintly like a firefly in the night. They do not yet know what they will become. But they are patient. They drift, they wait, they hum softly with possibility. You move among them and you notice how space itself seems to breathe. With every widening stretch, more room opens and the particles scatter farther apart. You wonder if they only drift forever. What could come of them? But then you feel it, the invisible pull of gravity. Gentle at first, like a whisper tugging at the edge of your sleeve. Gravity is quiet, but it does not let go. The hydrogen and helium, scattered like lonely wanderers, begin to find one another. They gather in small families, then larger ones. Atoms form clouds, clouds swell into rivers, rivers drift into seas of matter. You see them forming patterns, delicate and slow. Gravity is weaving its patient threads, pulling scattered dust into a cosmic tapestry. The universe is still dark, for no stars have yet been born. This time is known as the cosmic dark ages, long, deep and quiet. If you open your inner ears, you feel the stillness pressing gently against you. Billions of years pass in this hush, yet here, time feels like a long inhale, waiting for the exhale that will bring light. And then, somewhere within the depth of a collapsing cloud, something stirs. Matter gathers into a knot, tighter and denser, pulled by gravity's insistence. Pressure builds, heat swells, until the silence cannot contain it. A spark ignites. The first star is born. You see it as a pinprick of light piercing the veil of darkness, like the first candle lit in a cavern so vast you had thought it infinite. Its light is soft, not blinding, yet it stretches endlessly, washing over the emptiness with a promise of warmth. The universe is no longer silent. It hums with photons, with energy streaming outward. This star, though alone at first, is not unique. In other corners of space, other clouds collapse, other knots ignite. Soon there are many candles, many suns. Their light mingles, overlapping like ripples in water, painting the darkness with strokes of brilliance. The cosmic dawn has arrived. You drift closer, and you see what this light does. It touches the surrounding atoms, breaking them apart, freeing them, reshaping the space around them. Ionization, the scientists call it. But to you, it feels like an awakening, a stirring of life within the universe. The darkness is no longer absolute. It is softened, pierced, transformed. These first stars are massive, far larger than the sun you will one day call familiar. Their lives are short but fiery, burning through their fuel in cosmic heartbeats, and when they die, they do not fade quietly. They collapse and burst, scattering heavier elements into the void, carbon, oxygen, iron, the seeds of everything yet to come. You breathe in this thought, that from the death of the first stars, the possibility of planets, oceans, and even life itself is born. You, drifting here, are already written into this story. Every atom of your body once belonged to such a star. You are not separate from this quiet beginning. You are its continuation. As more stars ignite, the first galaxies take shape. But not yet, for now you are resting in this threshold, where the first light has only just touched the dark. The silence is no longer empty. It carries a song, faint and rising, of stars breathing into being. You let yourself imagine what it feels like to be one of those first suns, to carry such heat inside you, to shine against the infinite dark, to know that in your burning you are not merely surviving, but giving light, giving matter, giving a future to the cosmos itself. You float gently, your mind quiet, your body soft, your breath slow. Around you the young universe expands, stars flicker like new thoughts inside an awakening mind, and you realize perhaps that the universe is not a machine but a dream unfolding one light at a time. The darkness, once absolute, now glows softly. You feel no rush, no urgency, only the endless patience of space and the slow, certain rhythm of creation. And as you drift, you sense that this is only the beginning. The stars will gather, they will cluster, they will spiral into grand shapes. Galaxies will rise like vast islands, shining with billions of suns. But before that story, you stay here, in the stillness at the first breath of light. You rest with the stars, knowing that their glow is also yours. Clouds of possibility, giant clouds of hydrogen drift, soft and endless. Gravity, gentle yet persistent, begins to weave them together. The invisible pull gathers whispers into storms of becoming. Here the seeds of galaxies slowly find their form. You drift deeper into the newborn universe. The stars from the last chapter shimmer softly behind you, scattered like lanterns on a far horizon. Yet most of space is still quiet, filled not with galaxies or clusters, but with something simpler. Vast clouds of gas, immense and fragile, stretching across unimaginable distances. They are mostly hydrogen, the simplest element, each atom carrying just one proton, one electron, like a child at the beginning of life. With them drifts helium, a little heavier, a little more complete. These are the first children of the cosmos, born from the cooling after the Big Bang. They move in silence, carried by the expanding fabric of space. At first they seem endless and formless, like fog rolling over an infinite sea. If you reach out, you cannot touch them. They are too thin, too spread apart. Imagine breathing the emptiness between them. A single atom might float in a space as large as a room. And yet the clouds are there, real, persistent, like soft breath exhaled by the cosmos itself. You linger here, letting your mind feel the stillness. There is no rush, no urgency. The universe does not hurry. These clouds drift for millions of years, spreading and swirling, moved by currents unseen. You realize that what guides them is gravity, not dramatic or sudden, but steady, patient, always pulling. Gravity is the quiet sculptor here. You cannot see it, but you feel its hand. Slowly it gathers the gas. What was once scattered becomes slightly thicker in some places, slightly thinner in others. Small differences grow larger. The clouds ripple, form knots, begin to fold inward. They are learning how to become more than mist. Close your eyes and imagine the patterns of smoke curling in a breeze. Now imagine that smoke stretched across light years. The shapes it makes are vast, looping, turbulent. Astronomers today call them nebulae. Great clouds of gas and dust, places where stars and galaxies are born. To you, drifting here in this moment, they look like dreamscapes, waves of color and shadow, swirling as though the universe itself is painting. Inside these clouds, the future is hidden. You see regions where the gas thickens, where gravity tugs more strongly. Over eons, the gas will collapse, condense, and ignite into stars. But that is still ahead. For now you are resting in the in-between, where the cosmos gathers its breath before speaking more clearly. You drift closer, and you see how these clouds move not only by gravity, but also by pressure. Imagine warmth and cold playing a game together. When gas grows denser, it heats, and when it heats, it pushes outward, resisting collapse. Gravity pulls inward, pressure pushes outward. A balance, a dance. The clouds tremble at this delicate equilibrium, caught between falling inward and spreading apart. The universe is young, and yet these clouds already carry complexity. Within them turbulence stirs, waves collide, flows tangle, knots form. It is not chaos but possibility, the gentle disorder from which structure can emerge. You breathe slowly, knowing that without this dance of chance no stars would ever awaken, no galaxies would ever rise. Billions of years later, astronomers would look back at this era and give it names: cosmic filaments, primordial structures, the web of matter. But for you, it feels simpler, more immediate. It is the sensation of watching something vast cradle its own becoming. Pause for a moment here. Imagine that you are a single atom of hydrogen drifting in one of these clouds. You are light, barely substantial, floating for millions of years in silence. At first you think you are alone, but slowly you notice you are not. Other atoms drift nearby. A faint pull brings you closer together. Time means little to you. You are patient. Slowly, imperceptibly, you and your companions gather, becoming part of something larger. You are a whisper becoming a voice. And as these whispers gather, something profound begins to happen. The clouds no longer remain smooth and featureless. They grow lumpy, textured. Some regions shine faintly under the glow of nearby stars, lit like mist at dawn. Others remain dark, thick, and secret. These dark places will become nurseries of stars. You feel awe rising gently in you. How strange, you think, that out of silence and formlessness, beauty arises. That clouds of invisible gas, intangible and weightless, can one day become the fire of suns, the brilliance of galaxies, the warmth of worlds. All of it is here, hidden, waiting, inside these drifting seas of hydrogen. The scale overwhelms you. A single one of these clouds can be hundreds of light years across, spanning distances so vast your mind stretches trying to contain them. If you tried to cross one, even at the speed of light, it would take longer than human history has existed. Yet here, floating without time, you feel no distance, only the softness of potential. Gravity continues its patient work. Where the clouds thicken, stars will soon spark into being. But stars do not come alone. They are born in families, in clusters, where hundreds or thousands awaken together, like lanterns lit in the same night. And these clusters, bound by gravity, will gather still further, weaving the larger structures of galaxies. You realize now that you are witnessing the blueprint of everything to come. These clouds are not the galaxies themselves, but the sketches of galaxies. They are possibility made visible, the raw material out of which every island of light in the universe will form. Without them, there would be no spirals, no clusters, no Milky Way, no Earth. You rest in this understanding. The clouds are not yet complete, but they are necessary. Their stillness holds the weight of inevitability. You sense how time stretches forward, stars igniting, black holes forming, galaxies colliding. And yet all of it is held gently here, in the softness of gas drifting across the void. Your mind begins to quiet even further. You do not need to rush toward the future. You are simply floating here, among clouds that are more than clouds. They are the womb of the cosmos, carrying galaxies not yet born. The silence feels comforting. You breathe slowly, you drift without effort. You allow yourself to dissolve into this mist, becoming part of the possibility itself. And then, faintly, you begin to notice the first hints of movement. Not random, not scattered, but patterned. The gas is beginning to flow into larger rivers, pulled along invisible highways of gravity. The universe is weaving its first great structures, the cosmic web, long strands of matter stretching like bridges across the dark. You watch, entranced. The clouds are gathering, the seeds of galaxies are taking shape. Stars awaken within the mist. In the densest corners of clouds, stars ignite. Each star, a quiet sun, breathes light into the darkness. You drift among their glow, feeling their warmth and rhythm. A galaxy is not born in silence, but in song. The clouds you have been drifting through grow thicker now. What was once diffuse and endless begins to fold in on itself. The fabric of hydrogen, so soft and scattered, feels heavier. Gravity's invisible hand has drawn the mist inward, wrapping it tighter, pressing it together. In some places the pressure grows too great to ignore. The atoms, once content to float alone, are pushed into contact. They press against one another, and in their closeness something new begins. The temperature rises. Slowly, silently, a knot of gas grows hotter and denser. You hover close, and though no flame burns here in the way you know fire, you sense an intensity swelling. Atoms of hydrogen, pressed to the point of surrender, begin to fuse, nuclear fusion. But you do not need the scientific word. To you it feels like breath becoming flame, silence becoming song. In the very heart of this knot, energy awakens. And then, with a shimmer that grows and expands, the first true star bursts into life. Its light pierces the surrounding mist, golden and soft, like dawn spilling through fog. It does not explode violently, but glows steadily, calmly, as though it had always been waiting for this moment. The darkness bends around it, no longer absolute. You drift closer. The star hums with a deep rhythm, a steady beat of fusion. Hydrogen becomes helium, and in this transformation, light and warmth pour outward. For the first time, the cold of the void carries a whisper of heat. The universe has found its lanterns, and soon there are more. The cloud does not give birth to just one star. In its depths, many knots collapse. Each finds its own threshold, its own ignition. One after another, stars awaken, each a candle lighting the cosmic night. Some shine blue and fierce, burning fast. Others glow orange or red, cooler, slower, destined for long lives. Together they form clusters. You float among them, and it feels as though you are wandering through a forest of suns, each tree alive with its own pulse. Their light weaves through the mist, scattering in beams and shadows, illuminating the gas that gave them birth. The cloud is no longer silent. It sings with photons, with radiation, with life. You pause and let this light wash over you. It does not sting, it soothes. It feels like warmth on skin after a cold night, like a campfire's glow held steady against the dark. You close your eyes, but even then, the light lingers. Some of these stars are enormous. They live quickly, pouring out energy with abandon, their brilliance unmatched. They will burn themselves out in just millions of years, a blink in cosmic time. Others are small, faint, steady. They may live for trillions of years, longer than the universe itself has existed so far. Both kinds are needed. Both kinds give the cosmos its balance. You begin to notice how the stars shape their environment. Their light pushes against the gas that surrounds them, carving cavities in the mist. Stellar winds, streams of particles blown outward, sculpt the cloud into strange forms. Some regions glow with bright ionization, lit like stained glass. Others are shadowed thick with dust, hiding unborn stars still cradled in the dark. Astronomers on Earth one day will look through telescopes and see these regions as nebulae, glowing clouds of pink and blue, tendrils curling like smoke. They will give them names: the Eagle Nebula, the Orion Nebula, the Pillars of Creation. But here, you are inside them, moving as though through a dream. The colors do not have names, they are feelings. The light does not have edges, it surrounds you softly, endless. You realize something profound. You are seeing not only the birth of stars, but also the birth of chemistry. For as these massive suns live and die, They will forge heavier elements in their hearts: carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, iron, the ingredients of worlds, of oceans, of bodies like yours. These elements do not exist yet in abundance, but the stars are preparing them. Their lives will be the universe's alchemy. You breathe slowly and let this settle in you. Every atom in your body, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your lungs, was once forged in stars like these. You are not separate from this story. You are its continuation. You are a star remembering itself. The cluster grows brighter. Some stars form binary systems, pairs bound together in a delicate orbit. Others drift alone, luminous, solitary wanderers. Gravity shapes their paths, tying some into families while flinging others into the wider void. You feel the choreography of it like a slow cosmic dance, each step guided by invisible threads. And yet, even here, not all stars survive. Some knots of gas collapse too quickly, too violently, and snuff themselves out before shining. Others never reach the threshold of fusion, remaining as brown dwarfs, failed stars, glowing faintly with the warmth of contraction, but never truly igniting. Even in creation there is loss, and you feel the universe's quiet acceptance of this balance. Still the song grows louder. The cloud that was once formless mist is now a glowing nursery, its newborn stars sending light across the universe. Their brilliance travels outward, photons streaming for billions of years, carrying news of this dawn to the furthest reaches of time. Some of those photons, you realize, will one day touch the eyes of humans looking up at the night sky, wondering where they came from. You drift among these stars until you feel their rhythm in your own breath. Inhale, and you imagine the gravity that gathers. Exhale, and you feel the release of light. Inhale, the silence of hydrogen waiting. Exhale, the warmth of fusion unfolding. Your body becomes a mirror of the cosmos pulse. The mist around you begins to thin. The brighter stars have blown away much of their birth cloud, leaving space clearer, emptier. You can now see the clusters more sharply, families of stars gathered in shapes that hint at the galaxies they will one day inhabit. The quiet scaffolding of the universe grows visible, and as you drift you notice the first stirrings of something larger still. The stars are not scattered randomly. They gather along unseen rivers of matter flowing together, tracing filaments that stretch across the dark. The outlines of galaxies are beginning to emerge. You sense it. The universe is preparing to shape itself into grander designs. But for now, you remain here, among the newborn suns. You let their glow soothe you, their warmth soften your thoughts, their rhythm steady your breath. You are floating in a nursery of stars, and for this moment, nothing more is needed. Spirals in the darkness. Some galaxies swirl, arms stretching like dancers in a cosmic waltz. Their stars gather into spirals, slow and infinite in their turning. You drift along these arms, watching rivers of suns pass by. The universe spins itself into beauty. You drift now beyond the nursery clouds, beyond the first awakening of stars. Here the cosmos grows larger, more intricate. The stars no longer shine in isolation but gather, drawn by gravity, into vast families. These families become galaxies, and in many the stars find themselves arranged in a shape that feels almost alive. The spiral. At first glance, it is breathtaking. A great whirlpool of light suspended in the dark, arms curling gracefully around a luminous center. From a distance it looks delicate, like frost patterns on glass, or ripples frozen in a pond. But as you draw closer, you realize the immensity. Each glowing thread is not a line of dust or mist, but a river of stars, billions upon billions, flowing together in the same slow dance. The arms do not spin like solid wheels. They are waves, patterns moving through the galaxy, gathering stars, gas, and dust into graceful curves. Imagine cars on a highway, some moving faster, some slower, yet creating waves of traffic that ripple along the road. The spiral arms are like this, density waves, where matter collects for a while, shining brighter before drifting onward. You move gently along one of these arms. Stars of all ages surround you. The youngest burn blue and hot, clustered tightly where gas is still thick enough to form them. Their brilliance makes the arms shine, like lanterns strung along a path. Between them lie older stars, dimmer and redder, moving patiently through their long lives. You feel the contrast, youth burning bright, age glowing steady, all carried together in the same swirl. The spiral is not static, it turns slowly over millions of years. To human eyes it seems frozen, eternal. But if you could watch long enough, you would see the arms shift, reform, drift like currents in an endless sea. Nothing here is fixed, and yet the pattern persists. As you float deeper, you sense the central bulge of the galaxy ahead. It glows with densely packed stars, golden in their combined light. Many of these stars are ancient, older than the spirals themselves, carrying the memory of the universe's earliest times. Around them the spiral arms extend outward like graceful arms embracing the void. You pause to notice how calm it feels here, despite the scale. The galaxy spins with unimaginable energy, yet its rhythm is steady, patient. You realize that what you are seeing is balance, gravity holding stars together, motion keeping them apart. Without gravity, the stars would scatter. Without motion, they would collapse inward. It is the tension between the two that creates the spiral, that sustains its beauty. Drifting further, you see dust lanes threading through the arms. Dark, sinuous shapes weave across the glowing rivers of stars. They are not empty shadows, but rich clouds of gas and dust, the raw material for future suns. They remind you of veins in a leaf, or rivers cutting through valleys, pathways of life in a form the cosmos knows best. Within these shadows, more stars are waiting to be born, more light preparing to join the dance. It strikes you gently that the spiral is not just a pattern, but a process. It is the ongoing story of creation, death, and rebirth. Stars ignite in the arms, live their luminous lives, then die, scattering elements back into the galaxy. New stars form from this material, carrying forward the cycle. The spiral is not a frozen shape, but a living rhythm, endlessly renewed. You drift now outward, looking back at the galaxy from afar. It lies against the darkness like a flower unfolding, arms curling in delicate symmetry, a center glowing bright. Other galaxies glimmer in the distance, some spiral as well, others shaped like ellipses, some irregular and strange. But the spirals call to you most strongly, perhaps because they echo patterns familiar to your mind. The swirl of seashells, the turning of hurricanes, the spiraling of galaxies in miniature inside the curve of a fern. The spiral is nature's signature, written from the smallest scale to the largest. You breathe slowly, letting the rhythm of the spiral steady your own. Its arms curl infinitely, yet never in haste. Its stars burn brightly, yet never in vain. It turns, and in its turning it reminds you of something simple but profound. That beauty can be the result of balance, of opposites held gently together, of forces not fighting but weaving. As you drift, you feel yourself becoming part of the pattern. Your thoughts spiral outward, your breath spirals inward. You sense that the universe is not something separate from you, but something you carry within. The spiral is not only a shape in the sky, it is the rhythm of your own being, reflected on a grander scale. You stay here for a while, resting in the symmetry, watching the slow turning of stars. The galaxy breathes around you, vast yet intimate, immense yet soothing. You feel no need to move, no urgency to leave. The spiral holds you in its gentle embrace, reminding you that motion can be restful and vastness can be comforting. And then, softly, you notice a thought rising in the back of your mind. Galaxies do not always remain as they are. They wander, they drift, and sometimes they collide. The spiral, so graceful, so serene, is not immune to encounter. In time it will meet another, and their shapes will be broken, remade, reborn. Collisions that create galaxies do not live alone. They meet, embrace, and merge. Collisions spark chaos, but also rebirth and brilliance. Stars scatter, new clusters form, and shapes are redrawn. From destruction, new wonders quietly emerge. The spiral you have been drifting through feels eternal, balanced, serene. Its arms curl like dancers, its stars hum in patient rhythm. But even galaxies, vast as they are, do not live alone. They drift through a universe alive with countless others. And slowly, silently, their paths cross. At first the approach is distant. Another galaxy glimmers on the horizon, faint and small against the dark. For millions of years it grows brighter, larger, drawing near with steady inevitability. There is no rushing here, no sudden crash. Galactic collisions unfold across timescales that stretch beyond imagination, hundreds of millions, even billions of years. To you, it feels like two great ships drifting slowly toward each other in an endless sea. As the galaxies near their outer stars begin to feel each other's pull, tides of gravity rise, stretching the spirals, pulling out long streamers of light. These are tidal tails, ribbons of stars flung outward like trails of sparks from a slow-motion firework. You drift along one of these streams, watching suns glide outward, some bound still to their home, others set adrift into intergalactic space. It feels dramatic but also strangely gentle. For all their apparent collision, the stars themselves rarely strike one another. They are too far apart, separated by light years. Instead, the galaxies pass through each other like ghosts, their stars sliding past unseen. What collides is not star with star, but gravity with gravity, structure with structure. Shapes are stretched, distorted, remade. You drift closer into the mingling cores. Gas clouds, unlike stars, do collide. They crash together, compress, and in the pressure new stars are born in furious bursts. You see clusters of brilliant blue suns, newborn and blazing, igniting where the clouds were forced to meet. The collision has sparked creation, turning chaos into light. Galactic mergers are paradoxes. They are destruction, but also birth. Spirals unravel, arms tear away, but in their place new structures form. Tidal arcs, bridges of stars, knots of clustered suns. In the centers, supermassive black holes, each a quiet anchor in its own galaxy, spiral toward one another. Over eons they will merge, releasing ripples through space-time itself, gravitational waves, faint but vast, shaking the fabric of the universe. You feel the pull of this, the idea that even black holes, those dark hearts, are not forever alone. They too find partners, they too merge, they too become something new. The scene unfolds slowly. Galaxies pass through one another, drift apart, then fall back again. Each encounter distorts them further, until finally, after long epochs, they no longer exist as separate spirals. Their stars, gas and dust settle into a new shape, often an elliptical galaxy, rounder, smoother, with less structure than the spirals that formed it. Out of the dance of collision, something calmer, older, emerges. You think of your own life for a moment, how sometimes collisions, and with people, with experiences, with loss, feel like destruction. And yet, like galaxies, what is broken often gives birth to something new. Shapes change, but the story continues. You drift with this thought, letting it soften you. The collision before you is both vast and intimate. Vast because it stretches across millions of light years and billions of stars. Intimate because you feel the rhythm of it inside your own breath. Inhale, the galaxies drawn together. Exhale, their shapes distorted, their stars reborn. Inhale, the slow merging. Exhale, the quiet settling into something new. You float now among the newborn clusters. They shine blue and bright, their light crisp, young, alive. Around them dust still swirls, sculpted by stellar winds. You imagine how, in time, planets will circle these suns, and perhaps life will rise on one of them, never knowing its world was sparked by a galactic embrace billions of years before. Beyond, you see streams of stars, arcs stretching into the void. Some of these stars will wander forever, ejected from any galaxy, destined to travel alone. Others will fall back, drawn once more into the merged body. There is sadness in this scattering, but also beauty. Even exile becomes part of the pattern. You drift back, looking again at the whole. The two galaxies, once distinct, now blur together, their arms tangled, their centers entwined. They are becoming one. It is not quick, not simple, but inevitable. Gravity, patient and tireless, does not let them drift apart forever. Billions of years from now, such a fate awaits your own home galaxy, the Milky Way. It drifts now toward Andromeda, a neighboring spiral. They are still far, but their paths are set. In 4 billion years they will meet, collide, and merge. Earth may or may not still exist then. Humanity may or may not still look upward. But the stars will feel it. The galaxies will reshape, and the cosmos will continue its slow, unending dance. The thought calms you. Collisions are not endings, they are transformations. Galaxies do not die when they collide. They become something else, carrying their stars, their gas, their black holes into a new story. Nothing is wasted. Everything is woven. You breathe slowly, letting this truth settle into you. What feels like chaos, even destruction, is often the universe rearranging itself into another kind of order. What feels like loss is often a beginning in disguise. The galaxies settle now into their long merging. Their shapes are still distorted, their stars still adjusting, but you can already sense the calm that will follow. The spiral arms, once delicate and distinct, have blurred into something rounder, softer. The chaos has given way to wholeness. You linger in this stillness, comforted by the thought that even in collision, beauty remains. The universe is never static. It is always changing, reshaping, creating. And you, too, are part of this endless becoming. The quiet architect's dark matter. Unseen hands hold galaxies together in the dark. Dark matter, invisible yet vast, shapes the scaffolding of creation. Without it, stars would drift apart, scattered into nothingness. You sense the mystery that cradles the cosmos. You have drifted through spirals and collisions, watching galaxies rise and merge. Now you pause, looking closely at one. It glows with countless stars, its arms curling in light. You know gravity holds it together. The same force that pulled gas into clouds, that pressed atoms into stars, that shaped galaxies from chaos. And yet, as you watch, something does not add up. The stars whirl around the galaxy center, faster than they should. By all visible matter, the galaxy ought to unravel, its outer stars flung outward into the void. But they remain bound, circling steadily, as though held by something unseen. You drift further back and feel it. An invisible presence, vast and quiet. It does not shine, does not burn, does not reflect light. It cannot be touched, and yet its gravity is undeniable. This is dark matter, the quiet architect, the unseen scaffolding on which galaxies are built. You breathe slowly, letting the thought expand within you. For every star you see, there is 5 times more matter you cannot. The universe you know by sight, galaxies, nebulae, planets, light, is only a fraction. Most of reality is hidden, wrapped in a darkness that does not glow, and yet it is not absence, it is presence, steady and profound. Dark matter holds galaxies in place, cradling their stars like a parent holding children close. Without it, the spirals would dissolve, the clusters would scatter, and the cosmos would be a sea of drifting fragments. The beauty you have seen, spirals, collisions, clusters, would not exist. You close your eyes and try to imagine it. Not blackness, not emptiness, but something subtler, an invisible web stretching across the cosmos. Filaments of dark matter thread through the universe, linking galaxies like beads on strings. Where the filaments intersect, matter gathers, galaxies cluster, stars ignite. You realize you have been drifting through its design all along, though you could never see it. This cosmic web is the true skeleton of the universe. Light follows where darkness has already laid the path. Galaxies are only the glowing decorations, the lanterns hung upon invisible scaffolds. You feel awe, knowing that behind every shimmer of starlight lies an ocean of the unseen. And yet the mystery deepens. What is dark matter? Scientists do not know. They measure its pull, they trace its influence, but its nature remains veiled. It is not made of atoms, not of the particles you know, not protons, electrons, or neutrons. It does not shine, does not absorb, does not interact with light. It is there only by the tug it leaves, by the shapes it carves into the cosmos. To you, drifting here, it feels like breath, invisible, essential, sustaining. You do not need to see air to know it fills your lungs. You do not need to see dark matter to know it fills the universe. You drift into a cluster of galaxies, hundreds bound together by gravity. They are luminous, immense, yet they float inside halos of dark matter so vast you cannot sense their edges. The halos overlap, binding the galaxies into families, shaping their motions, guiding their collisions. Without these halos, the cluster would scatter like sparks from a fire. With them, the cluster holds, patient and immense. You pause to feel the scale. These halos are not thin shells, but oceans, spheres of unseen mass extending far beyond the visible glow. The stars are only a fraction, the tip of an iceberg. Most of the galaxy is shadow, weight you cannot see, gravity you cannot name. It humbles you. What you know, what you see, is only a sliver. The cosmos is not what it appears to be. It is deeper, stranger, richer than sight can tell. You let this thought soften you. There is comfort in mystery. The universe does not reveal all its secrets, and yet it still carries you gently, still holds you in place. Perhaps you do not need to solve everything to rest within it. The presence of dark matter is not silent to science. Astronomers have traced its fingerprints in many ways. They see galaxies rotate too quickly, stars orbit too fast. They measure the bending of light around clusters, distorted by gravity stronger than visible matter could provide. Gravitational lensing, the universe's own magnifying glass. They map the early afterglow of the Big Bang, the cosmic microwave background, and find patterns shaped by matter unseen. Everywhere dark matter whispers, though it never shows its face. You drift deeper into this awareness, imagining the universe without it. No scaffolding, no web, galaxies unable to form, stars adrift, light scattered into loneliness. Without dark matter, there is no Milky Way, no Earth, no you. The unseen is not optional. It is the foundation, and yet the mystery remains. What is this substance? Some imagine new particles, heavier cousins of the ones you know, still hidden from detection. Others imagine axions, ghosts of matter that slip through without leaving marks. Still others wonder if gravity itself must be rethought, if the equations are incomplete. But the universe keeps its secret. You feel the weight of it around you, but the answer stays veiled. In this mystery, you find peace. You do not need the name to feel its presence. You do not need the definition to sense its embrace. It is enough to know that you are held. You float along one of the cosmic filaments now. Galaxies string themselves along it like jewels on a necklace. You imagine the filament itself, invisible but real, a river of gravity guiding light where it should flow. Without this river, the galaxies would be scattered droplets. With it, they become constellations of possibility. As you drift, you realize something tender. Darkness is not always emptiness. Sometimes it is structure, support, a quiet holding that allows light to shine. You think of your own life, the unseen forces that hold you, memory, love, gravity of the heart. Not visible, not always named, but present, steady, essential. The cosmos is reminding you gently. What you cannot see can still be what sustains you. You breathe deeply now. The universe feels softer, more intimate. You are not just looking at stars, you are looking at the scaffolding that allows them to exist. You are not just drifting in light, you are drifting in the embrace of darkness that carries it. Ahead, you sense another presence, darker still, deeper still. At the hearts of galaxies, not only does dark matter hold them, but something more profound anchors them. You feel the pull, immense and silent, of black holes. invisible engines shaping the spirals and cores. The thought lingers. If dark matter is the web that holds galaxies together, then black holes are the hearts that steady their centers. Black holes at the heart. At the center of most galaxies lies silence wrapped in power. Supermassive black holes, invisible anchors, steady the spiral's dance. You imagine their pull, shaping stars without a sound. A galaxy breathes around a hidden heart. You have felt the quiet scaffolding of dark matter, unseen yet steady. Now, as you drift toward the center of a galaxy, you sense another presence, smaller in size yet immense in power. A heart that does not glow, does not burn, but pulls with irresistible gravity. At the core of most galaxies lies this mystery, the black hole. From a distance, the galaxy appears calm. Spirals sweep outward, stars flow in graceful motion, nebulae glow in soft colors. But the closer you move toward the center, the more you feel the pull. It is not violent here, not yet. It is steady, like a tide drawing all things inward. You know you are approaching the black hole, though you cannot see it. Black holes do not shine. They cannot. Light itself cannot escape their grip. Imagine a waterfall so steep, so strong, that even the swiftest river cannot climb back out once it falls. The black hole is that waterfall, not of water, but of space-time itself. Once light passes the event horizon, the invisible edge, it cannot return. And yet the black hole is not absence, it is presence, quiet and immense. You feel it in the way stars orbit nearby, whipping around with astonishing speed, bound to something they cannot see. You feel it in the way gas swirls into a disk, heated as it spirals inward, glowing with energy before vanishing. Supermassive black holes lie at the centers of galaxies, millions, even billions of times the mass of the Sun. No one knows exactly how they formed, whether from the collapse of the first giant stars, or from clouds of gas collapsing directly, or from countless smaller black holes merging. But however they began, they have become anchors, steadying the galaxies that breathe around them. You pause and drift near the edge of one. The stars closest to the core streak around in tight ellipses, their orbits so fast that only a black hole's pull could explain them. Astronomers on Earth discovered our own galaxy's hidden heart this way, by watching stars whip around an unseen point in the constellation of Sagittarius. They gave it a name, Sagittarius, a star, the black hole at the center of the Milky Way. You imagine standing on Earth, looking up at the night sky. To the naked eye, the Milky Way is a river of stars, quiet and serene. And yet at its core, a monster sleeps, 4 million times the mass of the Sun, wrapped into a silence so deep that not even light can escape. It does not roar, it waits, it holds. Still, black holes are not only quiet anchors. When matter falls into them, they can awaken with violence. Gas spirals inward, compresses, heats to millions of degrees, and releases torrents of radiation. Sometimes jets of energy erupt from the poles, beams stretching for thousands of light years, brighter than the galaxy itself. These are quasars, black holes so active that they outshine all the stars around them. You drift near such a quasar now. The galaxy glows fiercely at its center, the black hole hidden within but revealed by the chaos it stirs. The jets lance outward, thin and straight, carrying matter at near the speed of light. They look like spears of brilliance piercing the dark, reminders that even silence can burst into song when stirred. Yet not all black holes rage so brightly. Many rest quietly, like the one in your own galaxy. They sit at the center, holding stars in orbit, shaping the rhythm of the spiral. Invisible hearts, steady and enduring. You let yourself feel the paradox. Black holes are both destroyers and creators. They consume, swallowing light and matter, and yet their gravity organizes galaxies. Their eruptions seed the space around them with energy, stirring gas that will later form new stars. They are endings, and they are beginnings. You breathe slowly, feeling your own heart beat in your chest. A smaller echo of the cosmos, a rhythm that steadies you as the black hole steadies the galaxy. Both hearts are invisible in their way, both essential. You carry inside you a reminder that the unseen can guide the whole. Now you drift even closer. You cannot see the event horizon, but you sense where it lies. Around it, space itself bends. Light from stars behind it curves, wrapping into arcs, distorted like reflections in rippling water. Gravitational lensing, the astronomers call it. To you, it feels like the black hole is a mirror of possibility, bending reality itself into new shapes. You do not cross the horizon. You remain outside where time still feels steady. But you imagine what lies within, a region where time and space collapse into singularity, a point beyond comprehension. The laws of physics, the rules you know, do not survive inside. It is a boundary not of distance, but of understanding. And so you let it remain mystery. You do not rush to solve it, to name it fully. You let the black hole be what it is, the hidden heart of galaxies, the quiet center that shapes without revealing, the presence that steadies while staying unseen. You drift back slightly, looking again at the whole galaxy. It breathes, its stars flowing outward in spirals, its nebulae glowing softly, its clusters shimmering, and all of it turns around a silence, an anchor invisible but real. You realize then that the galaxy is like a living being. Its arms are like breath, its stars like cells, its black hole like a heart. And you, drifting here, are part of its body, carried in its rhythm, calmed by its pulse. You rest in this thought. You are small, but you are not separate. You belong to the dance, to the breath, to the heart that holds it. And as you linger, you sense the next thread of the story. Black holes, dark matter, stars and spirals, all these are parts of a larger whole. Galaxies are not scattered randomly. They gather into clusters, into rivers of light stretching across the cosmos. To understand the universe, you must drift further out to see how galaxies themselves arrange into a greater pattern. The river of stars, our Milky Way, summary. You find yourself in a familiar river of light. The Milky Way arcs across the sky, our home among billions. Its stars are countless, yet you feel its intimacy. Here, the grand story touches your own. Full chapter. Body, 1,000 words. You drift now into a galaxy that feels different from the others. It does not appear as a distant spiral, admired from afar, but as something closer, something lived from within. Across the sky it stretches like a pale river, a band of stars flowing from horizon to horizon. This is the Milky Way, your home. To see it from Earth is to stand under a summer night, far from city lights, and look upward. The band seems almost like a cloud, soft and luminous, but as your eyes adjust, you realize it is not mist at all, but the combined glow of billions of stars, too faint and too distant to separate. Each one is a sun. Each one holds its own story. Together they form the river of light you call the Milky Way. From outside, the Milky Way would appear as a barred spiral, arms curling outward from a glowing bar at its center. Its disk spans 100,000 light-years, its mass hundreds of billions of suns, yet from within you see only the river. The side view of its shining disk wrapped around you like a horizon without end. You float gently within it now, letting its immensity surround you. Stars cluster thickly near the galactic core, where the heart of Sagittarius, a star, lies hidden. They thin as you move outward, spreading across the arms. Between them stretch lanes of dark dust, weaving shadows across the glow, hiding nurseries of stars yet to come. And somewhere small and ordinary lies a yellow star you know well. It is not at the center, it is not at the edge. It drifts in one of the spiral arms, the Orion arm, halfway between core and rim. Around it circle planets, and on one of them life has risen. On that planet you have opened your eyes to the night sky and wondered where you belong. You breathe slowly and the answer comes gently. You belong here. In this galaxy, in this river of stars, you are not separate from it. You are its child, woven from its matter, sustained by its rhythms. Every atom of your body carries the story of this place, forged in stars, scattered by supernova. gathered into the cloud that formed your sun. Drifting further, you see how the Milky Way is not alone. It is part of a small group of galaxies, the local group, a family bound together by gravity. Andromeda, larger than your own, drifts nearby, approaching slowly. Dwarf galaxies orbit like companions, small but luminous. Together they move within the greater weave of the cosmic web. But for now you return your focus to the Milky Way itself. Its arms curl in great sweeps, lined with clusters of young stars. Nebulae glow along the spirals, pink and blue, illuminated by the suns within them. Globular clusters hang in the halo, ancient spheres of stars, older than the galaxy's spirals themselves. They glitter like lanterns suspended around the edges, reminders of time's depth. You let the sight calm you. The Milky Way is vast, yet it feels intimate. You are inside it, part of it. When you look up at night, you do not see a distant object but the body of your own home, the structure in which your life has unfolded. Imagine Earth again, one small planet circling one ordinary star, lost among hundreds of billions. From the galaxy's view, Earth is invisible, a grain of dust in a vast cathedral. And yet here you are, aware, conscious, able to look outward and know that you belong. The immensity does not erase you, it includes you. You drift now toward the galactic core. From Earth it is hidden by dust, but in infrared and radio light, astronomers have pierced the veil. They see stars whipping around the central black hole, evidence of its gravity. Around it clusters shine, packed so densely that 1,000,000 stars could fit in a region only a few light-years across. The core hums with intensity, ancient and alive. Then you move outward again, back into the arms where new stars are born. You see the Orion Nebula glowing faintly in the distance, a cradle of suns still in their infancy. You imagine standing under Orion's belt on a winter night, unaware that one of its stars is not a star at all, but a nursery, a place where light is still learning how to shine. The Milky Way carries both past and future. In its globular clusters you see some of the oldest stars in the universe, shining since near the beginning of time. In its nebulae you see stars not yet formed, the promise of worlds still to come. It is a river that flows through time as much as through space. You breathe in this thought, letting it settle into you like a gentle tide. You are part of this river, carried along by its current, no more and no less than any other star, planet, or life. And yet the Milky Way, too, is not eternal. Far in the future it will meet Andromeda. The two galaxies will merge, their stars scattering, their shapes remade. A new galaxy will be born, brighter, larger, different. But even then, the stars will remain, the river will continue, and life perhaps will still look upward in wonder. For now, though, the Milky Way rests. It arcs across the sky in a quiet glow, a reminder of home in the vastness. You are safe here, held in its arms, part of its story. You close your eyes and feel the galaxy around you, steady and vast. Its stars are countless, but its embrace feels singular. You drift with it, carried in its rhythm, calmed by its presence. Time, distance, and light. Every star you see shines from the past. Galaxies are messengers, their light stretched across time. You drift through ages with every glance. Space is vast, yet every photon carries a story. You drift now within the Milky Way, resting in its arms, when a thought begins to stir. The stars above you shine so steadily, so faithfully, that it feels as though they are immediate, lanterns glowing in the present moment. And yet, as you look more closely, you realize a truth both humbling and beautiful. None of the light you see is truly now. All of it is from the past. Light travels fast, but space is vast. Even at 300,000 kilometers per second, the speed of light, it takes time to move from one place to another. The glow of the moon reaches your eyes in just over a second. The light of the sun takes 8 minutes to arrive, and the stars. Their light has been traveling for years, centuries, millennia. When you look at them, you are looking into history. You breathe slowly, letting this realization wash over you. The night sky is not only a map of space but also a map of time. Each star is a memory, each photon a message. You are not only gazing outward, you are gazing backward, slipping into the past with every glance. You drift toward a bright star in Orion, Betelgeuse. Its orange-red glow warms the darkness. It lies about 640 light-years away. This means the light reaching you now left the star in the 14th century, when human hands were carving stone cathedrals, when voices were telling stories that have long since faded. Whatever Betelgeuse is doing in this very moment, you cannot know. You only see its history. Further still, you look at the Andromeda Galaxy, the great spiral drifting toward your own. It lies more than 2 million light-years away. The light you see tonight began its journey before humans existed, before even early ancestors walked the earth. You are looking not only at another galaxy, but at a time when your world was silent of human voices. And beyond Andromeda, deeper still, are galaxies whose light has traveled billions of years. Some of them shine from the early universe itself, carrying news from when the first stars were still awakening. To see them is to look across almost all of time, to touch the beginning while standing in the present. You pause here, suspended in awe. The sky is not simply stars scattered across a ceiling. It is a tapestry woven from both distance and history. Every photon that touches your eyes is a traveler, carrying with it the memory of where it came from. Photons are the messengers of the cosmos. Born in the core of stars, they spend thousands of years bouncing within, colliding, scattering, until finally they escape into space. Then they fly outward, straight and tireless, across unimaginable distances. They carry with them the imprint of their origin, the color, the temperature, the story of the star that gave them life. And when they reach you, they deliver that story gently, silently, like a letter long delayed but never lost. You breathe with this thought. You are not only watching light, you are receiving messages billions of years old. Your eyes are time machines, your gaze a bridge between what was and what is. Even the colors of light carry stories. Blue light means higher energy, often younger or hotter stars. Red light means cooler stars, or it means that the light itself has been stretched. As the universe expands, it stretches the waves of light traveling through it. This redshift is not just color. It is time stretched into distance, the history of expansion written into the spectrum. You drift now into a cluster of galaxies. Some glow bluish-white, filled with young, hot stars. Others glow reddish, their stars older, their light stretched by distance and age. You see in their colors the flow of time itself, as though the universe is painting its history directly into the sky. And you notice something profound. The farther away you look, the younger the universe you see. In astronomy, distance and time are the same. To look far is to look back. To peer into the deep sky is to watch the cosmos itself grow younger before your eyes. The universe reveals its past not in memory, but in light faithfully carried across the dark. You pause and let your mind rest in this rhythm. What you see above you each night is not a fixed present, but a chorus of histories layered across time. Stars that may no longer exist still shine in your sky, their last light still on its way. You live surrounded by ghosts, and yet they comfort you, their glow warm, their stories intact. It reminds you of the way memory works in your own life. When you think back, you see not the present, but impressions, echoes, moments preserved. The night sky is memory on a cosmic scale. History written in light, recorded not in books but in photons, drifting ceaselessly across space. You drift further back, imagining the earliest light. Long before galaxies formed, before stars ignited, the universe itself glowed. That afterglow still exists, stretched and cooled over billions of years into a faint microwave background that fills the sky. The cosmic background radiation, the universe's first whisper, is the oldest light you can see. To gaze upon it is to glimpse the echo of the beginning. You breathe deeply, softened by this thought. Light is not just illumination, it is story, it is time. Without it, you would not know the past. Without it, you could not glimpse the beginning. And yet light also reminds you of impermanence. For all its speed, it takes time to arrive. What you see is never now, but then. Reality is always just out of reach, hidden behind the veil of distance. But instead of loss, you feel tenderness. The past is not gone, it is shining still, scattered across the sky. You close your eyes, feeling the photons against your skin, even unseen. They are not only light, they are history, brushing gently across you. Every glance into the night sky is a communion with time. Every star a reminder that you are part of a story that began long before you. And as you linger, you sense where the story leads. Light reveals the past, but time itself flows in one direction, guided by a deeper law. Entropy, the arrow of time, ensures that the universe drifts ever forward, that change is inevitable. You will drift there soon, into the flow of time itself, and listen to the rhythm of its arrow. The gentle flexibility of time. Time does not flow the same for all. Gravity and motion bend its rhythm, stretching and slowing. You drift through these gentle distortions, feeling clocks lose step. The universe whispers, even time is not rigid. You have drifted through rivers of light, realizing that every star is a messenger from the past. Now a new thought arises softly, like a ripple beneath still water. If light shows you history, what of time itself? You live inside its flow, moment to moment, but is time steady, unchanging, absolute? The universe whispers gently, no. Time itself bends. You begin by imagining your own body, your own breath. Each inhale, each exhale seems to mark the same rhythm, constant and sure. A clock on your wall ticks in equal beats, but what feels steady to you is not universal. Time, the great river, does not run the same in every place. Gravity and motion stretch it, bend it, slow it. Time is flexible. This idea was Einstein's gift, the realization that space and time are not separate but woven together, a fabric that can curve. Imagine a sheet stretched tight with marbles rolling across it. Place something heavy, and the sheet bends. The marbles change their paths. Space and time are like that sheet. Mass and motion bend them, changing how they flow. You drift toward a massive star now. Around it, space itself curves and time flows more slowly. A clock here ticks more gently than a clock far away. If you rested on a planet close to this star and your friend waited far off, the two of you would not agree on the passage of minutes. Their clock would race ahead while yours lagged behind. This difference is not illusion. It is not a trick. It is the nature of time itself. Gravity bends it, stretching it out. What feels like a second to you might be a longer beat to someone else. And so you realize time is not one universal rhythm. It is a symphony, each instrument playing at its own tempo, woven together across the cosmos. You breathe slowly, letting this soften you. You too are part of this symphony. The clock in your heart, the rhythm in your body, are always relative, always part of a larger flow. Now you drift faster, carried by motion itself. Imagine a spaceship moving near the speed of light. Inside, the passengers laugh, breathe, live, their clocks ticking as normal. But to someone watching from outside, everything on that ship moves more slowly. Their seconds stretch, their time lags. If the travelers return after a long journey, they will have aged less than those who stayed behind. This is time dilation, born from motion. You picture the famous thought experiment, twins. One stays on Earth, the other travels near light speed, then returns. The traveler finds their sibling older. Years gone by in what felt like moments. Time itself has diverged, stretched differently for each. The twin paradox it is called, not a trick, not a contradiction, but the truth of relativity. As you drift, you begin to feel this flexibility within yourself. Time no longer feels like a rigid march, but like breath, able to slow, to stretch, to quicken. It feels less like a ruler, more like a river, flowing differently depending on where you stand, how you move. You imagine drifting closer to a black hole. At the edge of the event horizon, time itself nearly stops. To an outside observer, you would appear frozen, never crossing the boundary. But for you, time would still flow, your moments still unfolding. Two truths at once, both real, both valid. Time is not a single path, but a tapestry, stitched differently for each perspective. The realization comforts you. If time can bend, then perhaps your own moments too are not as rigid as they seem. Perhaps your memories, your days, your future are all part of a flow that is more gentle than the ticking of a clock suggests. Astronomers test this truth not only in thought, but in practice. Satellites orbiting Earth carry clocks, and they tick differently than those on the ground. Faster, because they are farther from Earth's gravity, and slower because they are moving quickly. Engineers must adjust for this bending of time to make GPS satellites work, to let you find your way on Earth. Without Einstein's relativity, your maps would falter. Even in daily life, you are living inside flexible time. You close your eyes and feel it now, time bending gently around you, not harshly, not sharply, but softly, like fabric stretched. You are part of this weave, moving in rhythms you cannot fully measure, yet you are carried along regardless. Think of your own life again, how some moments race by while others stretch endlessly. A joyful hour feels like a breath, a painful hour feels like a lifetime. Though physics measures time as objective, your heart already knows its flexibility. Your own experience is a mirror of the cosmos, and so you rest in this thought: time is not rigid, but alive. It bends with gravity, stretches with motion, flexes with perspective. It is the softest of laws, steady yet yielding, eternal yet gentle. You imagine the future now, when humanity may travel to other stars. Those who journey at great speeds will return to find Earth aged far beyond them. They will carry with them the strange gift of relativity, the ability to step through time differently. What feels like a lifetime to them will be centuries to those left behind. Time is not the same for all travelers, and that makes the universe richer, stranger, more alive. You drift now at the edge of a massive cluster of galaxies. Their gravity bends not only light, but time itself. The cluster is like a bowl in the fabric of space-time, pulling all things inward, slowing their rhythms. You sense it around you, a great deepening of moments, a stillness that grows stronger the closer you come, and then you drift outward again into emptier space, where time flows more quickly, freed from gravity's hold. The contrast is gentle but real, a reminder that no moment is absolute. The universe is a patchwork of clocks, each ticking differently, all part of the same whole. You breathe slowly, steadying yourself. Time is not something to control, not something to grasp tightly. It is something to float within, to trust, to let carry you. You are not outside of it, but inside, and its flexibility is not threat, but comfort. For if time can bend, then endings may be less final than they feel. If moments can stretch, then presence is deeper than a clock can measure. If the universe itself accepts flexibility, then you too can accept the ebb and flow of your own days. You linger here, adrift in the gentle river of time, feeling its currents, its bends, its soft yielding. The stars glow around you, each a clock of its own, each shining a different history. Together they weave a chorus, not of one steady beat, but of many, layered and harmonious, and as you drift you sense the deeper question forming. If time bends and stretches, if it is flexible, then why does it always seem to move forward? Why does the arrow of time point only one way, from past to future, from memory to possibility? The arrow of time and entropy. Time flows in one direction, forward and never back. Entropy grows, disorder spreads, and patterns dissolve. The universe drifts toward balance gently but surely. You rest in the quiet certainty of this arrow. You have drifted through the gentle flexibility of time, learning how it bends and stretches with gravity and motion. And yet a question remains: why does time always move forward? Why does it not flow backward if it is so soft, so pliant? You pause now, waiting for the universe's answer, and slowly the answer arrives, whispered in a single word: entropy. Entropy is not a harsh law. It is not cruel or cold. It is simply the measure of disorder, the tendency of things to spread, to scatter, to settle into balance. Imagine a cup of tea steaming hot. Left alone, it cools, heat spreads outward, molecules lose their rhythm, and the tea grows still. It never reheats itself without help. This is entropy, the universe's quiet drift toward equilibrium. You float now through a cloud of dust and gas. At first, the particles are clumped, uneven, scattered. Over time, they spread, filling space more evenly, settling into balance. Disorder has increased, patterns have dissolved. Nothing violent has happened, only the gentle march of entropy. This, scientists say, is why time has an arrow. The universe began in a state of astonishing order, compressed and hot, matter and energy close and uniform. Since then it has been expanding, cooling, spreading, increasing in entropy. Every breath you take, every star that burns, every ripple of energy that moves through space adds to this grand unfolding. You breathe deeply, letting this truth settle within you. Time flows forward because entropy increases. It is not the clocks that guide time, nor the stars, but this law of spreading. The universe does not move backward into order, it moves forward into balance. You imagine an hourglass. The sand at the top is neat, organized, waiting. As it falls, it spreads into a heap at the bottom. Once scattered, it does not leap back upward, grain by grain. The direction is set, the arrow clear. Entropy grows, and with it, time flows. This law does not erase beauty. On the contrary, it creates it. Stars burn, galaxies swirl. Life itself arises because energy flows from order to disorder, from concentrated to diffuse. The sun shines because hydrogen fuses into helium, releasing light and heat, drifting toward balance. Your body lives because food, ordered energy, is broken down, scattered into motion that keeps you breathing. Entropy is not only decay, it is also the engine of becoming. You drift now into the heart of a star. Fusion rages, matter transforms, light escapes. Every photon leaving the star is entropy increasing, energy spreading outward. And yet that very spreading warms planets, nourishes life, creates the possibility of eyes that look upward in wonder. Entropy is not loss, it is the flow that sustains. Still, there is a quiet sadness here. For entropy means that in the long future, stars will exhaust their fuel, galaxies will dim, and the universe will drift toward heat death, a state of perfect balance, where nothing more can change, no more work can be done. It is a future of stillness, of silence. You linger with this thought, but do not let it harden. For that far horizon is not now, it is billions upon billions of years away. You are here in the present where stars shine, galaxies swirl, and life breathes. Entropy may set the direction of time, but within it, beauty and meaning blossom. You think of your own life again, you see how entropy flows there too. Ice melts, memories fade, bodies age. And yet within that drift moments of clarity shine, a laugh shared, a breath taken in stillness, a night under stars. Even knowing all dissolves, you find comfort in the briefness, the preciousness, the awareness that nothing repeats the same way twice. Entropy gives time its texture. It makes moments unrepeatable. Without it, all would be frozen, still, timeless. With it, life flows forward, fragile and luminous. You are part of that flow, carried by the same arrow as the stars. You drift outward now, beyond galaxies, into the larger weave of the cosmos. Everywhere you look, entropy guides the arrow of time. Clusters spread, light redshifts, energy disperses. The universe is a great unfolding, a slow exhale. You feel yourself floating within that exhale, not separate, but included. And yet, even here, you sense patterns that rise within entropy's flow. Order emerges briefly, stars, planets, life. These are temporary pockets, eddies in the current, where energy flows create structure before dissolving again. The universe does not resist entropy but dances within it, creating order for a time, letting it fade, then rising again elsewhere. You realize that your own existence is such a pocket. Your body, your mind, your breath, a momentary structure in the great drift. You will dissolve as all things do, but that does not make the moment less real. If anything, it makes it more tender, more sacred. You breathe slowly, letting this truth calm you. Time flows forward, entropy increases, and within that law, beauty arises and fades. You are not outside this process. You are it. The arrow of time is not something to fight. It is something to rest within. It tells you that the past is gone, the present is fleeting, the future is open. It reminds you that change is natural, that endings are part of beginnings. And as you linger here, drifting in the current, you sense the next horizon. If time flows forward, if entropy sets the arrow, what lies at the end of that arrow? What is the horizon of forever, the far future toward which the universe drifts? The horizon of forever galaxies drift apart, their light fading into distance. Stars burn out one by one, leaving only embers. The universe cools, soft, slow, and silent. You drift into the far horizon, where eternity waits. You have followed the arrow of time, carried by entropy's gentle law. Now you drift into the far future, to glimpse the horizon of forever. It is not a moment that arrives suddenly, but a gradual unfolding, stretched across billions upon billions of years. The universe does not end with a roar, but with a long exhale. First, you notice the galaxies. The universe continues to expand, space stretching itself wider. Distant galaxies drift farther and farther away. Their light shifts to red, then beyond red into wavelengths your eyes cannot see. One by one they slip beyond the cosmic horizon, too far for their photons ever to reach you. The sky grows emptier. The familiar constellations lose their shapes as stars move, fade, and vanish. Yet nearby, in your own galaxy and its neighbors, life continues for a time. Stars still shine, planets still circle, nebulae still glow with the birth of suns. But even here the balance tilts slowly toward silence. The brightest stars exhaust themselves quickly, burning their fuel in mere millions of years. They die as supernovae, scattering their elements into space. The smaller stars, red dwarfs faint and steady, endure far longer. Some will burn for trillions of years, far beyond the span of your imagination. Their glow will outlast the spirals of galaxies, outlast the memory of the Milky Way itself. You drift near one such star, a red dwarf glowing faintly in the dark. Its light is dim but steady, a patient ember against the black. Around it may circle worlds cold and quiet, perhaps once alive, perhaps never touched by life at all. This star will burn longer than any you have seen before, holding on against the darkness, but even it, too, will one day fade. The universe grows quieter. The great era of starlight draws to a close. No new stars are born, for the gas needed to make them has thinned and scattered. The cosmic nurseries, once bright with pink and blue nebulae, lie empty. The galaxies, once alive with spirals and clusters, dim into shadows. You breathe slowly, letting the thought settle gently. The end is not sudden, it is not cruel. It is simply a fading, a quiet cooling. In time only remnants remain, white dwarfs, the faint cinders of once bright suns, neutron stars, small and dense, humming softly with the memory of collapse. Black holes, silent and unseen, anchoring what is left of galaxies. These objects endure for billions upon billions of years, but even they are not eternal. White dwarfs cool into black dwarfs, cold and dark, invisible against the void. Neutron stars spin down, their pulses ceasing. Black holes, the most enduring, will slowly evaporate through Hawking radiation, releasing their energy in faint whispers of heat, until they too are gone. You drift among these remnants, the graveyard of stars, yet even here you do not feel despair. The silence is soft, the darkness calm. The universe is not dying violently, but resting, settling, reaching balance. Entropy has done its work. Energy has spread evenly, quietly, until no more difference remains. This is heat death, not fire, but stillness. A universe at perfect equilibrium, where nothing more can change, because all is balanced. You pause in this vision of the far horizon. It feels vast, endless, but also tender. The cosmos has lived a long story. Birth in the Big Bang, growth of galaxies, awakening of stars, emergence of life. Now it rests, its energy spent, its patterns dissolved. It is not destruction, it is completion. And yet, even here, whispers of possibility remain. Some scientists wonder if the universe may not end in silence, but in cycles, if expansion may one day reverse, collapsing into a new beginning, another Big Bang, another unfolding. Others imagine quantum fluctuations sparking new universes, bubbles of creation rising from the stillness. The horizon of forever may not be a wall, but a door. You let these thoughts drift through you without needing answers. Whether the universe ends in silence or begins again, or flows into multitudes, the truth is the same. You are part of its story. You are woven from its atoms, carried in its breath, sustained by its light. Whatever comes, you are included. You breathe slowly, deeply. The stars have faded, but their memory remains in your body, in your mind, in the very matter of your being. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are its echo, its expression, its child. The horizon of forever is not frightening when you remember this. You do not drift into nothingness. You drift into belonging, into rest, into the embrace of a universe that has carried you from the first light to the last silence. You imagine now returning to Earth, to a quiet night under the Milky Way. You see the stars overhead, knowing they are temporary, knowing they are history, knowing they are precious because they will fade. You feel gratitude for their glow, for their stories, for their presence, and you close your eyes, knowing that even when the stars are gone, the memory of them, the matter of them, the story of them will live on in whatever comes next. You are at peace in the horizon of forever.